Hi everyone, it's Arlene from Arlene's Creations, and today I'm going to be showing you how I will be making a beautiful sign for my Aunt Catherine's 80th birthday party, and the theme is hydrangeas. So I had purchased a piece of tissue paper from a website. I will link it in the box below. I don't have it right now, but of course it was square. So what I did was I took a paintbrush with some water and went around the edge like that, and then just pulled the tissue paper away so that it made this rough looking edge. So that's my tissue paper. Now my board, this is just a regular plank. It's 24 inches. I think it's a little big. It's bigger than 24 inches, but it's 12, I think, by 28. So what I did was I sanded it as best as I could, and I painted it with white chalk paint. Then on top of that, I did 2 thin coats of a product called Gator hide, which is a very durable, waterproof top coat that I got from DixieBelle.com. Now this is a new technique, and I heard about it from this woman called, her name is Amy, from Fashiontoppings and AJ's Vintage Designs. She's on YouTube, and she's affiliated with Gator hide. So when I ordered the Gator hide and a few other products from Dixie Belle, I actually, you know, clicked on her link so she gets the, you know, whatever she gets from being affiliated with them, I'm not sure. So now, and I let them dry in between coats, the Gator hide. Like I said, one thin coat, let it dry, another thin coat, let it dry. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to put, my tripod broke, so I'm going to have to put my camera down and adjust how I want this. And I'm going to have it hanging over the edge just a little bit so that like the stems come to the bottom. And then on the top that it overlaps. I don't know if you could see that. But what I'm going to do is I have this little craft iron. And it was so funny because when I was watching her video, I had bought this at Joanns, oh my God, about 2 years ago. I just thought it was so cute. And it was like $4 or $5. And I said, oh, I'm going to get it. You never know what I might need it for. And I never used it. It was still in the package. And then when I saw Amy's video, and this is what she used for the transfer procedure, I said, oh my God, I'm so excited. Now I can use my little baby iron. So what you do is you take your tissue paper and you put it on top of your wood that has been 2 coats of Gator hide. You put a piece of parchment paper on top, not wax paper, but parchment paper, and then you iron it on to the board. So what happens is the Gator hide that you put 2 coats heats up and it reacts, and it like makes like a glue that your tissue paper sticks to. And then when you have it all stuck down the way you want it, you can even sand around the edges to make it look like it's part of the board. Then what you do is you go ahead and then you take your Gator hide and you do a top coat again. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to position my tissue paper here the way I want it. I'll put the parchment paper on it, and then I'll show you how I begin to start ironing it. All right, so I'll be back in a few. So I had it, I put it in place, and then I just wanted to start a little bit of the ironing so that it would stick. And as you can see, how compared to over here, compared to this that's not stuck yet. Let me see. See how that's stuck to the wood? So that's all you do is you put your parchment paper and you go, I'm going to try to switch my hands here. You just go over it with the iron. Make sure it's down flat. And you do little circular and then straight motions until all of your tissue paper is down. You don't want to leave the iron in one spot for too long, but see how it's flattening that out and putting it to the wood? So I am going to show you how it looks when it's completely all down, and then the next step. I'm going to run out and buy another tripod tomorrow, so I will be doing this technique quite a few more times. So I know this is just like a really rough one, like I said, because I don't have my tripod and it's hard to work as I'm holding my camera, my phone, whatever. So I'm just going to continue to iron this flat with the parchment paper, and then I'll show you what we're going to do next. Okay, so now that my tissue paper is totally on the board, and I actually have it ironed on up around the top a little bit to make it look a little rustic, and then also on the bottom. See how it goes over the wood? The leaf goes over the wood. It's so pretty. So now what I'm going to do is, I started it at this end, and I have my mineral Waverly chalk paint, and I just put a very little bit on my brush, and I'm just going to dab, and then just dry brush very lightly over the white, going in a circular motion around the edge for a little darker there. So I'm just going to play around with some dry brushing. I'm also going to use some brown wax. I'm going to wipe on the wax and then wipe it off. And if I don't like the way this mineral looks, I can take a damp cloth and get some of that off as well. But I'm just going to continue to play around with this, and then, meaning with the gray. And then after I get all my antiquing done, I'm going to print out a saying or two from my Cricut machine and stencil right over this with some chalk paint. So I'm just going to continue to go around. I can even go up onto the design to make it antiqued a little bit. So I'm just going to play around with this a little bit. And then I'll show you once I get to the part with the wax. And I'm going to go around the edges also with the mineral. All right, so that's how it's coming out so far. I'm loving it, and I will be back. Okay, so with my foam brush, I did a coat of gator hide over the top of the whole entire piece. Now, do you see all those bubbles? I don't know if you can see it, but see the bubbles that come up from the tissue paper? Because once the tissue paper gets wet again, it bubbles up. But as it dries, it's going to flatten back out. And then we're going to go over it again with the iron and the parchment paper. But see all those bubbles? So if you're going to try this technique, don't be afraid of the bubbles, because you are going to get bubbles. This is what the tissue paper does. And like I said, as soon as it starts to dry again, then it will come back down, and then we're going to iron it flat. Now, if you think you missed a spot, like I did right here, I don't know if you could see the light gray. Wait for it to dry and then go over that spot. You don't want to keep going over the tissue paper with the sponge brush and the gator hide, because you're going to tear your paper. So if you want to do a second coat and get any spots that you miss, because if you look in the light, you can see over here a little bit where I missed with the brush. But I'm going to let this completely dry, and then I can go over it again. So I'm going to do that step. Wait for this to completely dry and contract. Now, all the bubbles will not come out. They will come out, however, once I iron it back down. So I'm just going to let this be. And then what I'm going to do after that is I was going to do stencil over it, but I'm afraid of ruining it. So I have material that has all these little sayings in it, like family and home, you know, things relating to family and home. So I'm just going to decoupage this material in the corners of the sign. But what I'm going to do first, I'm not using this one. This little one I'm making as another sign. I'm just going to go around each one with a lighter and burn the edges, just to give it that little antiquing look. So while this is drying, I'm going to burn all the edges of these just with a lighter, going around, just lighting it and blowing it right out so that it doesn't burn the whole material, but then you get this beautiful little edge. And I can't do it holding my camera because I need two hands to do it. But I'll show you how they all look when it's done. And then I will be just putting them on, I believe, with Mod Podge, like a regular decoupage. And then the last step will be to use my Dixie Belle Best Dang Wax in brown and just antiquing with the brown wax all around the edges of the purple, just to give it that antique, old, used look. So I'm going to let this dry, like I said, and I'm going to burn all of my little sayings here, and I'll be back. Okay, so as you can see, most of the bubbles came out. So I went ahead and I burned the edges of all the sayings. Came out super cute. And then what I decided to do was cut out from these paper napkins 2 of the butterflies. From one napkin, one from each side. I have a whole pack of these. And I put it on the sign, as you can see right here. So now I'm going to take the parchment paper and I'm going to iron on these, because they'll stick with the gator hide and my butterflies. So once I iron that on, then I'll just have to do a top coat over the material, the fabric, and over the butterflies. Everything else basically has the top coat except for this one little area that I missed over here. So I I might even just go over the whole thing again with the top coat, with the gator hide, and then after that dries, I'll have to iron the whole thing again. Because every time you get this tissue paper wet, it's gonna bubble, and then you have to iron it again. So I'm gonna do that. Let me iron these down, put a top coat on it, and then I'll show you the final. Oh, after that, I'm going to take the wax and just age everything a little bit all over the place, and then I'll show you the last results. And I'm definitely going to run out today and buy another tripod because I feel really bad that I can't show you how I'm doing it step by step because I can't do and hold my camera at the same time. All right, but I just wanted to show everyone this new technique. Again, I learned this from Fashiontoppings. Her name is AJ from AJ's Vintage Designs. And she actually learned it from Royce Treasures. Royce Treasures is the one that sells the tissue paper. But she didn't have hydrangea tissue paper, so I had to buy it from Etsy. But if you'd like to do a wooden project like this, you can check out Royce, R-O-Y-C-E, Treasures. And she has beautiful tissue paper to make these beautiful decoupage wooden signs. But like I said, she did not have hydrangea. So I had to, I believe I ordered it from Etsy. I'll just double check because I remember looking and saying, oh man, she doesn't have hydrangeas and this is the theme of my aunt's party. So let me get this sign done. I still have a lot of other things I have to do today. And I'll show you how it looks at the end. Thanks everyone for watching. Everyone. So I put the last, what do you call it? Top coat of gator hide on. And then I went around with my brush and that brown wax. And I just ever so lightly went around all the edges just to darken them up and make it look more aged. And if you think a spot is too dark, you can always wipe it off. So see how that ages that so beautifully? I went around all the sayings. So between the burnt edges that I did and this technique, I'm just loving the way it comes out. And like I said, if you think a spot is too dark, you can just rub off some of that wax or blend it in a little bit more. Like so. So yeah, I think I'm loving it just like that. And not only is this going to be a gift for my aunt towards her birthday gift, she's turning 80. See, now I want some of that wax to get into the cracks there of the paper. But we're also gonna, I think we're gonna use this like on the dessert table. I'm not sure what my cousin wants to do yet. She hasn't seen it yet. You could just blend it out. Oh, almost knocked it off. I still have to put the hanger on the back. But yeah, so that's how it comes out. And like I said, I apologize for this video with the, with not having my tripod, but it broke, so I'm going to run out in a little bit and get another one. because I'm planning on making a whole bunch of these different types of signs. And hopefully this woman at a shop in Sayville is going to be carrying them and selling them. So this is only the second sign I did with this technique. The only other one I did was this, which I don't know if I did a video on this or not. But, oh, it's sliding. But that's actually also tissue paper with the same technique. But I didn't have the brown wax at the time, so I just used brown and black chalk paint to distress the corners. But that one's done with the same technique with the tissue paper and the gator hide and all of that. So, and I'm just loving these sayings on the material that I cut out, and what a difference how you can make it look. So, I thank you all for tuning in for this video that, without my tripod, very hard to do. I apologize, but like I said, I'm going to be doing more of these. And the products are from Dixie Belle. I learned this technique from AJ's Vintage Designs. On YouTube, she's Fashiontoppings. And then she learned from another woman. I have the paper upstairs. I keep forgetting her name. She's the one that sells the tissue paper. So I apologize, but I'll put all those links in the description box below. And yeah, so her themed party is hydrangeas. And it's purple hydrangeas. Even though there's a few blue in here, I just love how the butterflies came out. Super cute. Just adds a little something, something extra to it. So yeah, so I'm just loving the way this is. And I thank everyone for watching. Usually I do a video on Fridays of my weigh-in for Weight Watchers, but I won't be going tomorrow. My niece is in the Navy and she's coming here. So I have to work tomorrow morning until like 11 or 12. And then, oh, I don't know how my thing cracked here. And then we're going to like a high tea brunch. My sister-in-law, my niece Nicole, my niece Brittany, the baby, and I think some of my sister-in-law Dori's friends. So that's from 2:30 until like 5:30, where my meeting starts at 5. And then after that, we're supposed to be doing a painting party at my sister-in-law's, just a fun little something to do with Nicole again before she leaves to go house hunting in New Jersey, because her and her husband are being transferred from New Mexico to New Jersey, so much closer to home. So we're absolutely thrilled. They're both in the services, both in the Navy. So yeah, it's going to be great having her home. So that's my whole day tomorrow. So I'm going to have to miss Weight Watchers and then get weighed in the following Friday. So, all right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscription button. Please hit the notification bell. If you like this type of sign, just let me know. This is a huge sign. So it doesn't really look that good because it's like up against a, you know, like a neutral backdrop. But it actually looks beautiful in person. I'm in love. So anyhow, everybody have a blessed day. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye now.